But yeah, and you're using tools like it was a DG8. Is that the name of the
Yeah,
manometer?
the DG8.
So you don't just go to the supply house and go, "Hey, look, there's a DG8. I probably need this." Where do you get turned on to stuff like that?
So a DG8 is a micromanometer, which it measures pressure on a much smaller scale than your regular field piece or whatever UEI that you buy off the shelf. That measures typically, we're all used to inches of water. You can measure inches of water in a micromanometer, but you could also measure in pascals, which is a much smaller scale. And the first time I started playing with one was when I bought a blower door, because you need a micromanometer
Right.
for a blower door, and that's, and then before you know it, I got 3 of them sitting in my truck.
Boy, and those are like really inexpensive.
Yeah,
They just give those suckers away. Unless you
pretty
do
much.
know the guy from Energy Conservatory, then maybe he'll hook you up. But yeah, that's crazy. Because I know the first time I heard about stuff like that was Stephen Reardon. Because there was guys who were doing energy stuff for like the power company back in the day, and I'm talking about like in the '90s. They would come do duct blaster tests, and if you pass a duct blaster test, you could be their gold star dealer or whatever they wanted to call you. And that's the only time I've ever heard of it. Then my mind went blank on it for like 10 years. And then Steven comes along. It's like, well, this is pretty cool stuff. And then I started thinking to myself, if we're out there and you have knowledge of this now, how can you go back to the way before? When you go to a service call and say, well, I look at your house, it was built in 1910, you got a whole house fan, half of your windows are single pane. You got to turn that off to be a regular HVAC technician, or can you incorporate that some way?
You can't. You've probably, a lot of the people have probably heard of Nate Adams, but he sums it up the best. He's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's exactly true. And it gets to the point where it's like, I almost started getting depressed the more I was learning about things, because I was just look at everything. I'm like, everything's messed up. There's nothing that's good in this world. Like, there's no good residential.
That's so funny. And you came from a punk rock band, and that should have been where you started with your mentality. The whole world stinks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. So, I mean, does that kind of force you into the progression you're in? Like, I'm going to go up into teaching now because I can't stay down here and, do this every day, because I can't change some of this stuff, because you can't run X business and do this other stuff unless well, I guess you can, but it takes quite a bit of effort and money to transition your business into something like that.
Yeah, I was kind of just over it. Like, I got to the point where I was kind of burnt out, and I never was the guy. I hated business. I'm not a good businessman. I'm the guy who has a lot of empathy for somebody, and they're like, I don't have money for this. I'm like, okay, I'll do it for free. Like,
that's bad business. Yeah.
yeah, it's really bad. And I got to the point where, like, I was getting taken advantage of one too many times, and I'm just like, I don't want to do it anymore. If I could live in a world where I just walk around and fix stuff and my bills were all magically paid, that would be perfect for me. But that's not reality.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that too. That sounds good.
Yeah. So I sold the company, and I thought, like, there was a couple, I had a couple companies. I had actually 3 companies. I was like, I want to work for one of these 3 companies, and NCI was on that list. And it just worked out. And I thought, they're a training organization. They want their goal is to try to empower technicians to do better and have better lives and fix people's problems and allow their customers to experience a better life. So I thought, what I've learned, like, that would be pretty cool to share what I know and hopefully help other people start doing better.